Hi, I'm James McCaffrey, and I'm talking you through the choice between the Trilogy GCSEs or the Biology, Chemistry and Physics GCSEs. These are what are often known as double science versus separate science GCSEs. First of all, why the sciences? They build life skills, including solving problems, thinking critically and analysing data, recognizing things as fake news and claims that are made to you, really being able to make a judgment as to, what information is valid and can be trusted. They're useful for making sense of the world around you, always highly regarded subjects. You need to achieve a minimum of a grade 6 to continue on to A-level science. And science is fun. It's got a strong practical element to it, very hands-on. Now, the choice between the higher and foundation tiers are just the highest level grades available to you. And the real choice that we're talking about at the minute is Trilogy versus separate science GCSEs. Now, with the Trilogy GCSEs, you get two, or the equivalent to two GCSEs in science, and they will be rated as a side-by-side score. So obviously the highest available score you could get would be a 9-9 if you take higher Trilogy GCSE. It's sort of a way of splitting the difference between your grades, so that they're almost equivalent to half marks. So you could get a 9-9 or a 9-8. And it's the equivalent to having one GCSE at grade 9 and the second GCSE at grade 8. So it's a way of further sort of fine-tuning the rankings of the GCSEs. If you do separate science GCSEs, because you're sitting an exam in a single subject, you get one grade, and that will be either at higher or foundation. One possible benefit that some people might see from the separate science GCSEs is the option to possibly sit chemistry and physics at the higher level, but biology at the foundation level. The way that these are examined, the separate GCSEs each have two papers of 1 hour and 45 minutes, with the topics split pretty much down the middle, half the topics on the first paper, the other half of the topics on the second paper. The Trilogy GCSEs are 6 exams at 1 hour 15 minutes each. They are assessed topic by topic, the same way as the separate sciences. So you would sit 2 biology papers of 1 hour 15 minutes, with the topics split 50-50 across them. Each one of the 6 exams is worth a 1/6 of the final GCSE. Now, the big difference between the separate science and Trilogy GCSEs is the content that's covered on them. The separate sciences cover exactly the same content as the Trilogy GCSEs, but with some extra content on top. Looking at this, I know it's quite an unattractive page and it's very data heavy, but just to break it down, because actually we can use the colors to feed this. Anything in sort of just normal black text is common to both specifications. Anything highlighted in yellow is a practical, and all of these GCSEs have required practicals that you must take and have evidence of taking to achieve the practical and to ultimately pass the exam. Anything in red are the topics that are on the biology GCSE only. And anything in bold is on the higher syllabus in black. It's the same sort of thing for the chemistry. So you can see all the contents are exactly the same. And actually the first few GCSE topics, there aren't many practicals. All the practicals are at the end of the course, or not really the end of the course, but certainly the end of the syllabus. Again, anything in bold is showing up the higher tier content. Anything in red is anything that is on the separate science content. So that the red stuff would be on the chemistry GCSE, but would not be covered in the Trilogy GCSE. Physics, same story, although with the physics, it's a little bit less mixed into the spec. And there are just some, like the entire space physics topic is unique to the physics GCSE and is not covered. So the only difference between the two is the amount of content covered, and there is no, everything that is covered on the Trilogy specification is also covered in the separate sciences, but the separate sciences just have that little bit more. With regards to the required practicals, you will have noticed in biology, chemistry, and physics, there are certain practicals that are red. So that's highlighted in yellow and with the red text. Now, those are required practicals that are only required for the separate science courses. However, as part of just normal teaching practice, any students taking GCSE science will complete all the practicals anyway, because it's teaching examinable skills, but also it's very hands-on. It's a good, useful practical skill and activity to be able to do. So even though some practicals are not required for the Trilogy course, anyone taking the Trilogy course will do all the practicals anyway. And actually, we will do lots more practicals that aren't required practicals. They're just sort of generally good practice when teaching. Thanks very much for listening. Hopefully that helps you to make the choice whether you want to take the Trilogy GCSEs or to take separate GCSEs as an option. Any questions, let me know. I can share things like the specifications with you if that might be helpful. Thank you.